Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your host. He's the Stallion. I'm the Enforcer. And this week we have a very special guest. You know her from AEW Dark, a video blogger, a streamer, a trainer, a professional wrestler, Vertvixen. Thank you so much for joining the show today. We appreciate it.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. My
course.
dogs are also excited, so I apologize in advance.
No, the more dog barking, the better. Like I think like 2 weeks ago we had Deanna Perrazzo on, and all of her dogs started going crazy in the background. And so working from home and having 3 dogs, like it makes me feel like I'm not that guy, right? Like there's always like one person whose dogs are barking, and it's always me. So we appreciate that, and we're huge dog people here. So speaking of dogs, routines, puppies, and anxiety. You posted the other day. This is your brand new video blog that you will be debuting. Today's the 13th, so I want to say Thursday. I mean, you had me at puppies. Tell me about this video blog, what it is, and what's going to be on it.
So first of all, thank you for bringing it up. I really appreciate that. It's a whole new endeavor for me, an adventure. And like I've made some videos in the past, if you look at my channel, but they're all my cosplay videos, and they're all like how to build stuff and how to digitally sculpt. And that's really cool because that was definitely a huge part of my life. But now that I'm in this new phase of my life, I want to share that with everybody. And I'm very big about mental health, and I'm very big about taking care of yourself. And honestly, I've always felt the best approach to everything in life is just to be yourself. And that's why like my gimmick, my wrestling gimmick is just me. Like it's an accentuated version of who I am.
It's like to 11,
But to 11. And that's because that's how I want to present myself, because I want people to know who I am and not who I like the mask I wear. And honestly, all my life I've worn a mask. During cosplay I wore several. But it's just like this vlog is just kind of like testing the waters of like, I've never really filmed myself doing stuff before. Like I've never really let people kind of into my life on more of an intimate level like that. And so it's really just like, let me share myself with you in like an emotional, mental, and just a life way. I don't know how to explain it. I called it,
like,
what? Go ahead.
Empowering, right? So like it's empowering to open up and be like, all right, listen, this is who I am. I'm not trying to put on a show. You like it or you don't, cool. And if you like it, that's cool, because that means you like me for who I am.
Exactly. And that's like, it's so stupid. It's not like, I don't even go out of my way to like put on makeup or anything for my vlog, because I'm like, why would I lie about who I am? I don't wear makeup on a daily basis unless like I want to, or like I want to make my, I'm going out somewhere maybe, but every day I'm in my freaking sweats, my workout clothes, like my hair's up, messy bun. Like, I'm just like, I just want to show you all who I actually am and have no fear doing it. And vlogging is kind of like, so I journal too, because self-help is a huge thing for me, but vlogging is kind of like, it's like a video diary, and it allows me to just say exactly how I'm feeling, get everything out, work through my own demons, and hopefully help other people in the process and show that, hey, we're all human here. We all go through our own shit, honestly, and you can get through it no matter what it is. And that's why I put the anxiety thing in there, because there's a lot of my vlog where I'm like, I am uncomfortable filming myself. Like I need to break this fear and get past this uncomfortability level and just be me and have fun and do stupid shit.
And just that, like you said, it might make other people realize, oh, like, back in the day, like professional wrestling was like such a different thing where like there were people, you wouldn't drive to the show, the good guys and the bad guys, right? Like you lived that person 24/7. And to me, I think that's still, if you could do that, that's cool. And that takes so much dedication on social media and like the way life is now with everybody having a camera phone. But now like with the advent of social media and the Twitter and the Instagram and the Friendster, I don't think it's a thing anymore. But regardless, like to be able to open up to your fans and be like, hey, I'm just like you are, right? And for them to be able to resonate with you on a personal level is only going to grow their interest in you, like as a person, and then as a character as well, because they feel like they know you.
Right. And that's like, I think that's the thing about social media is, oh God, it's so weird. I honestly hate social media in the sense of like, I block myself from it. I don't know if anybody notices, but you'll notice that I won't be active all day, and then I'll only be active for like an hour. And that's legit because I have it blocked on my phone, because I will sit there and I will do the mindless scrolling, and I will just like I will find that I'll want to say things that I know necessarily won't help me or anybody else. So I'm just like, what's the point, you know? But social media is beautiful in the sense that we can share who we are with each other, but it's also horrible in the sense that it allows, we're also exposing ourselves, you know, and it's a good and a bad thing because some people will accept you for who you are. Some people will take it and just stab at you. I don't know how to explain it. Like that 6-man tag match, dude. I almost died on that dive, and like people were like, "Oh, Vert totally fucked up the dive," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I could have died. Like, like, thank you. Like,
yeah, it was a botch, but I'm not dead. You know, like that.
Yeah, like shit, stuff happens. People botch all the time, but I didn't die. I literally after that match, I sat there and I was like, I could have died. Like, I could.
And you're like, oh, sick botchamania, but I could have done, you know, like you have to.
God, I hope we'll see. I'm like, please don't be a botchamania.
That's a badge. First of all, that's a badge of courage now. Like it's not. I mean, after Titus was able to recover from that amazing Titus World Slide thing, there's nothing that can go wrong. But to your point on social media, I mean, not to get too dark, but like Sonya Deville's stalker, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you have things like that, but like. It's almost like you want to shake people and just be like, stop being an asshole because you're going to ruin it for everybody, right? Like there's so much good, but there can become so much bad with people. So I don't blame you for doing the block.
It's so frustrating too. It's like, I mean, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan. Like I love his podcast. And he one day was like, why can't we all just share kindness on social media? And I'm like, it's so simple. Why can't we? Why can't we just bring each other up and support each other? Why do people have to hate and be so mean? And it's not like I want like I'm not completely about like everybody being in a safe bubble, right? Because life is life and reality is reality. But I'm also just like, hey, why are you being a dick? Like, do you have a legitimate reason to be a dick? Because I don't think you do. Check yourself. Like,
and like those people, like the people that are that negative all the time, they're not the ones that are successful. They're not the ones that are all helping other people. So to be able to just do you on social media and like block out the negativity and just respond to the positivity must be so hard because you want to just be like, you want to like, I want to beat that part. Like there's so many things I'm like, I want to beat this person up. Like, and I'm not like, I don't like, you look at what people say, even on like Instagram posts and stuff. So it's really takes a mental toll on you, I'm sure. But then you have to say, these people are unhappy in their life. No matter what I do is never going to fix that. They're trying to bring other people down to that level and you just won't, you know, be affected by that.
Well, and that's why, like, I'm currently, like, I'll be like 100% honest with y'all. I'm currently on a really big, like healing journey. I have therapy like once a week. I have a lot of things that I'm doing because I have some stuff that happened to me when I was younger it's still really messing with me. That's something that I never faced, you know. And I'm sure one day I'll cover it more in my blog when I'm ready to talk about that stuff. But it's like, I don't even know where I was going with this, but my brain stopped working. It legitimately stopped in its tracks. Self-help,
negativity, focusing on positivity.
Yes. So I legit now, like I said, so I have the apps blocked so that I can't like, because I find if I scroll through Twitter, I'll see a lot of negativity, or if I just sit there scrolling through Instagram, like I'll see a lot of things that I'm just like, oh, that doesn't make me feel good, you know? So why would I put my attention and energy towards that? So I literally now schedule my post on a separate app. The app posts them for me, so I don't have to be active on there all the time, but it still posts my stuff. And then, like I said, like an hour a day, I go in there and I just focus on my stuff and I just focus on the positive and the people that are there, because that's like, you create your own reality, right? Like you can create your own reality, and I choose to have mine in this positive world, and I choose to respond to positive supporters. And if I see any negativity, I'll just either leave it alone unless it's offensive. If it's offensive, like I had people that were being really mean to gay people, I deleted it. Like if it's offensive, I'll delete it. Like that's not okay. But if it's just negativity towards me, sometimes I'll just be like, okay.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the report button. Like I'll actually go.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not a tattletale, but like I'd rather not see you be able to do this. Yeah, so I totally understand. But
right.
So I'm looking forward to the video blog. I think it's so cool that you're being so open. Speaking of the Twitter over the weekend, you were tweeting about WrestleMania. So I assume you watch WrestleMania. This is a wrestling podcast. I know we
Hell yeah.
but Tell me what you thought about WrestleMania. Fans back, 25,000 people. It seems like you enjoyed the show.
I loved it. It was great. So first of all, I love that they kept the 2 nights. Like I loved it. It was so great, and so my boyfriend cried when he first saw the audience because he just the reality of like we've been in this weird place in the world, and then in wrestling, you know, where we haven't been able to perform in front of fans, they haven't been able to perform in front of fans, and wrestling is great no matter what, but it's so different when there's people there live to react to it. Like it just is, because wrestling inhibits such an emotional response, and it's like you want to make people feel, and so to see all of these people that are there, it's just like it's like I don't want to say things are going back to normal, because I don't think there will ever be a normal anymore. Like, or it's going to be a new normal.
That's what I've heard. Everybody says the new normal.
The new normal, yeah. But it's headed in a good direction, and we're going to be able to enjoy things again soon that we enjoyed previously, like live wrestling shows. And that's so exciting for me as a wrestler, you know, and for him as a wrestler. It's so exciting. There were a lot of incredible matches. I have to say, and I wanted to see, so when Bianca won the Rumble, I was like, I want to see Bianca and Sasha. Like that was like, I was like, that's what I want. That's going to be incredible. And when they were standing in the ring across from each other and they just looked at each other and they started getting emotional, I'm going to start crying thinking about it. I started crying because it's such a huge moment. Like you've got these 2 women headlining WrestleMania, these 2 athletic women that are just as good, if not better, than a lot of the men out there, that they're just incredible wrestlers there to tell an incredible story. And that, to me, that needs to be the freaking women's match. That should be one of the matches of the year. Like that was absolutely incredible. They both performed amazingly. Bianca is like, God, I wish I was half athletic as that girl is. She's incredible. Like that whole match was just an emotional roller coaster, and I loved every freaking minute of it. Like that, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a woman. It was a huge moment as a female wrestler, right? But it was a great match
for the fan watching it. I got nervous when she was in the top rope and she stepped on her hair, and I'm like, holy! I'm like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you wrestle with hair like that, but you know, to your point, I think all of the nights were really they did a really good job. And to your point, the 2 nights is so much better than one marathon show. You need to give the fans a break. You need to take them on the, you know, the ups and the downs on the journey. So I would hope they go with that going forward. It sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, you've been a wrestling fan forever, almost?
No, I haven't. I am new to wrestling. I love it though,
okay.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, and you're new to wrestling.
Yeah, so I started training in January of 2019. And honestly, I started watching wrestling in December of 2018. Like, I've told this story before, and I guess I'll tell it again. I started watching wrestling because I saw Total Divas. And I was like, I was like, what is this? I didn't know what wrestling was. Like, I had heard of like Hulk Hogan, and I knew about The Rock, like, but I never had watched WWE, and I never had watched wrestling because my family wasn't into it growing up. It was like baseball was on all the time, and sometimes UFC, but not really even that. Wrestling was the like, oh God, and I don't mean to offend anybody when I say this. And
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
They just thought it was like more like, it was like what rednecks watched, is what my parents would say. Like I believe wrestling's for everyone, obviously, but that was their mentalities. They never had it on.
It kind of was for a long time, right? Like we hate to admit that, but that's what professional wrestling was. And the stigma, now I'm going to offend people, but if you ever go to like the big event,
I'll let you offend people.
Fine. If you go to like big event autograph session, they have one in Queens twice a year in LaGuardia Plaza. You walk in and nobody showers. The entire place smells like under the mats at the gym. And it's like, why is this the way it is? Like,
but I have to make a comment to that. So that's common at conventions. That's common, like at video game conventions. That's common at anime conventions. I think it's like in general for just major fandoms. I think it's just people that are so obsessed with whatever they're obsessing about, they don't take as good of care of themselves. So it's almost like, because it's the wrestling fandom is so similar to the anime fandom and so similar to the video game fandom. It's so similar to the comic book fandom. Like, it's really not that different. And I think it's just because these people are so passionate about what they love that they just don't take care of themselves.
You know, that's I've never.
Or maybe they don't know. I don't know.
Well, come on. We have the internet. We know we have to shower. But I think that's an interesting take on it. Back speaking of like that mental health aspect, like if you're so invested in something, okay, well, A, now I feel bad, but B, like
I don't mean to make you feel bad. I'm just being the neutral of like, hey, like, you know,
half full, you know. But to your point, like you were talking about the stigma of professional wrestling, and that's where that came from, you know, like, you know, and you would see that especially like in the 70s and 80s. Nobody like admitted watching pro wrestling like in the 70s and 80s unless you were Jim Crockett Promotions. You were watching in you know, in Atlanta, Georgia, where everybody did. But like in New York, you're like, I don't watch that. And you go home and you watch it and you don't tell anybody about it. So, so you got into it through Total Divas, which, you know, people had a problem with like the Bellas going into the Hall of Fame. Well, guess what? That's why you're a professional wrestler. Because so that's
and honestly, like, they had their role, you know what I mean? Like, they are just as important to women's wrestling as Medusa was, in different ways. Like, I think that's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, maybe the Bellas weren't exactly what you wanted as a women's wrestler, as a professional wrestler, but they had their place. They did exactly what they needed to do, and they drew in a different group of fans. So it's like, that's why we have this wide variety, and I think that's why it's so important that we have that. Because like you said, honestly, I think they were like the first they were the first wrestlers I saw, because I watched some of their stuff on Total Divas, but when I actually started watching Raw, it was Becky that I fell in love with. It was like, that was why I was like, oh, Becky Lynch, you know? I love her. The man, yeah.
What made you want to start training? Is Becky Lynch the inspiration, I should say?
Honestly, when I saw what wrestling was, and when I saw how athletic it was, when I saw how badass these women and men are, I'm focusing on the women, obviously, because it was something that I didn't really like. Women's professional wrestling was even more far off for me than just male professional wrestling, in the sense of like, I really didn't know, you know, what I saw of women's professional wrestling back in the day, like when I did see, was bra and panty stuff, right? So to see this level of female superheroes basically in the ring beating the fucking crap out of each other, like, it was, but they're so amazing, and they're all beautiful in their own way. Their costumes or their gear is always so incredible. You know, the way that they can talk and present themselves in front of a camera, their athleticism, like, it was like, holy crap. I looked at it and I was like, this is everything that I've done in my past in one beautiful little package. Because I have that cosplay background. I have a hosting background. I was a host for GameStop TV for a year. And before that, I did interviews and hosting for conventions. I've done a lot of on-camera work. I've done background work. I was on a competitive cosplay show on Sci-Fi Channel. I did some game shows back in the day. So like, I have this real like weird variety of talents and skills that I've picked up over the year. And I just like, how does this help me? And then I'm like, oh my God, wrestling. Like, it's everything.
I can do all this. How do I put it together and make money, right? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, when I first started, I didn't know I would fall in love with it as much as I have. Just to be completely honest, I was like, I'm going to try this. We're going to see how it goes. And it sucked at first. Like, for the first couple months, I was like, this is really hard. Like, I was in so much pain from learning how to do the bumps. And I was like, is this right? But I was just like, no, this is right. Like, my gut just kept telling me, keep going, keep going, keep going. And now I have the amount of love and passion for it is more than I've had for anything else in my life. And that's saying something, because I would work on costumes for cosplay for like 3 or 4 days without sleep, and then go to a con like on no sleep and compete at the convention. So it's a different, like, I don't know, it's a new fire, and I wish I had discovered it earlier. Like, I'm like,
Were you always athletic? Did you have like an athletic background growing up?
Yeah, I've always been in sports. I have 2 black belts in 2 different forms of Taekwondo, the American Taekwondo Association and then the National Taekwondo Association. I switched over because I wanted to compete, and then I ended up not competing because I hated competition. Because it's sparring. At the first place I learned, we would beat the crap out of each other. It wasn't point sparring. It was like, let's actually like,
Blood
spar. Yeah. And then when I joined the American Taekwondo Association to learn how to point spar, I was like, this sucks. Like, it's so different. It's not like, honestly, I should have just done MMA. Like, basically that's what, so I had that, and then I was just in sports all my life. And then I had this weird chunk in college because I was getting my bachelor's, so I had this chunk in college where I just didn't do anything, and I regret that. And I put on a decent amount of weight, and I put myself in a position where I just was not happy with the way I was looking or feeling. And then while I was doing the cosplay stuff, I started going to the gym again, and that's when it kind of just was like, okay, I like working out, like I like being active, and I miss it,
And back to mental health, everyone knows the more you exercise, releases the endorphins in the brain, you're in a better state of mind, which I think kind of goes unnoticed to a lot of people, and people don't realize how important it is to work out and to exercise. So
it's so important.
Yeah,
it's so health, important.
You can definitely tell on days, my on days and my off days at the gym, especially at work. I'm like, I hate everything on days I'm not working out. So I think a lot of people feel that way. So you've realistically been training two years, give or take, 2 years and change, and you've worked a lot in Texas, where you're from. How do you, in year almost get in touch? Maybe after the first year, get in touch with AEW. How does that happen so quickly?
Well, I was very, very fortunate that I was given the opportunity. So I did work for Thunder's promotion at Mission Pro. And I had trained at her school for like about a week or so. And I had known Thunder before that because we had worked with the mission stuff, with the customs and just Mission Pro in general. And so it was very fortunate that her and her husband had gotten me that opportunity. And it was one of those things where it was like, hey, email your stuff over, let's see what happens. And they were like, okay, come in, like, let's try this out and see. And then from there, it was my hard work that they kept asking me to come back. So we'll see when and if I go back again, but it's been a fun ride, and I'm very, very grateful for every opportunity I get. And I'm super grateful for all the women that I was able to work there and all of the incredible people that I was able to work with.
Yeah, we had Danny Limelight on the show recently, who is a big dark guy, and as well, and he said it kind of works. What is it, 3-match bundles, or some people have different kind of deals where you're signed for X amount of shows with the contract?
Oh, I'm not sure with the contract. I literally have just been an extra, so I have no idea about the contract stuff.
Okay, so you're free to work anywhere you want, correct?
Yes, yeah. I'm not under contract with anybody. I'm a free agent.
I mean, do you really have any free time considering all of the things that you do in your life? And
no. There's a pile of clothes on my bed that says no.
That's awesome. Now, professional wrestling, we know. Gaming, you mentioned. You did work with GameStop. That's awesome. And you're a streamer, right? Do you have a Twitch?
I do have a Twitch. I do. I don't currently have a schedule because especially with the tapings, I didn't know when I was going to be able to stream again. So I don't have a schedule up right now, but I'm hoping that I'm slowly working on leveling that out again. Hence why I'm making the videos, so I at least have some kind of content going out.
Okay, so are we an Xbox person, a PS person, or are we a PC person?
We only have PlayStations in this house. I just would let you, we're Sony, except for my Nintendo Switch, but that's a different situation.
See, PlayStation 5 and Switch right here, so I'm with you. I totally understand.
PS5, I only have the 4 still.
I got lucky, but you have to have connections at GameStop, no?
Not anymore. No, because I worked with them for a year, and then after my contract was up, it was thank you. You know how that goes.
Sure. Yeah.
You did awesome. Thank you so much.
Endeavors kind of thing, right? That's
what happens when you work contract, especially in games. Like with all the game jobs I've had, I've been very fortunate with this one that it's been a little more consistent. But with most companies, it's like, hey, you're on for a project, and then bye. Thanks for your work. Which is one of the reasons why I was like, oh God, I don't want to work in games anymore. But this company I'm currently working for, Gunfire Games, they're very good about not doing that. They're an incredible company. But PS4, or I guess PS5, which I'll hopefully definitely have to get before the new God of War comes out, and PC. PC has always been my go-to. I am really kind of was a Blizzard nerd. I used to play World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft. Like that was my go-to. So Heroes of the Storm. So it was like PC all the way for me.
Are you into retro games too, or just current games?
More current. Like there's some. Okay, so when you say retro, how retro are we talking? I guess is the question now.
Okay, let's say when Joe and I, the Stallion, get together, we play like let's see, NHL '95. We'll play Saturday Night Slam Masters. So we're talking like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis area.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't really.
Before.
You mean retro? Yeah, before it ends. I was like, does N64 count as retro now? Is that where we there yet?
I don't know if that counts as. You know what? All right, N64 would count. So you're more like modern day online games.
Where are the dogs? Hey, Robert, come here. Good girl. Okay, sorry.
Listen, this is what happens live all the time. No, you're straight. So
hi,
what?
Hold up. Hey, stop. You're okay. They saw someone out the window. Okay, I'm so sorry. Say that one more time.
The good news is you're safe. Like you're safe. They know you're like they have made you safe.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
They have done their job.
Yep. What are you playing now? Is my question.
What am I playing right now? Honestly, nothing, because I don't have time to play anything. All of my extra time right now has gone to video editing and really journaling and self-care and self-help. And what was I playing on my Switch? Oh God, Hades. Oh, look, it's your turn.
See, now it's my guy. It's okay.
Yeah, Hades is what I was playing. The game's so much freaking fun, by the way, on the Switch.
Hades. Okay, I was gonna say I just got very. That's awesome. We're having a conversation.
Right?
We're having a full-on conversation.
Exactly.
I'm big into the Spider-Man game, PS5, Miles Morales.
Oh, nice.
I'm like 12 hours into that, and I feel like the modern day games are so tough for me because they're so encompassing. So that's why I stick with the retro games. There's 4 buttons. I know what I'm doing, and
there's a lot of, there's definitely playing recently that I was like, wow, there's a lot of shit to remember here. This is really convoluted. I can't remember what game it was. Oh, I felt that way about Breath of the Wild at some points too, which sucks because I love Zelda. And I was like, there's a lot going on here, and I just want to play like a hack and slash Zelda game.
Like Zelda, A Link to the. I grew up on Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Those are so good, but the new ones are just so. But there's maybe it's teaching me something. I don't know, like patience.
Patience. It's not that it's bad, right? It's still good. It's just like I'm such a fan of just picking up a game and just like relieve stress or
exactly. Because when you're busy, you don't have a lot of time. You don't have that much time to learn the games. Like you can't. Right. I can't sit down for like 6 hours a day. I'd love to. I'd love to have no responsibilities and do that. But that's why, there's something to be said for just playing the games and enjoying yourself. So
and just enjoying it, right? Like yeah exactly.
So, well, listen, we will let you go. I know all of our dogs are telling us we have 3 minutes and 1 second left.
Apparently.
So, we appreciate your time. Where can we follow you everywhere on social media? And again, where we could see your YouTube page?
Yeah, I don't even know like what my YouTube link is anymore. I think if you just look up Vertvixen on YouTube, that's the channel. I think it's Vertvixen. I think it's youtube.com/Vertvixen Studios, because that's what it was when I was doing tutorials and stuff. I think it's still the same. But anyways, just look up Vertvixen on there. It'll definitely be there. And I have a link right now in my Instagram and my Twitter. And I'll be getting a link tree soon with all my links as well. But you can also find me on Instagram at Vertvixen. Twitter is at Vertvixen. Facebook is facebook.com/Alicia Cosplay, because Vertvixen was taken when I made it for some freaking reason. And twitch.tv/Vertvixen. And you'll notice that there's like no active streams right now, but don't worry, y'all. There will be.
Once we get some free time, and if you're gonna follow Vertvixen on any social media, don't be a dick. That's all we ask. Be cool. Follow along on social media.
Anybody.
That's okay. I mean, the purpose of this episode, I was saying don't be a dick, but don't be a dick in general. Spread positivity. Keep the positive mental attitude. I'm big on the PMA, so I implore you to not be a douche in life and be cool to people. But I also, for you, I want to wish you the best of luck with the video blog. We're looking forward to it. It sounds like you're going to be very open, very honest with the fans. I think they're going to see another side of you that you're going to latch onto. And 2 years into your professional wrestling career, you have made quite a splash. We hope nothing but the best for you. Everybody check out her matches on AEW Dark that are up for free on YouTube right now. And don't, if you want to at Tony Khan, feel free to at the big guy. Say we want to see more Vertvixen.
You guys, I'd like to go back.
We got Kenny Omega. They all have a Twitter, man. Just add them. Say we want to see Vertvixen back. So Vertvixen, thank you so much for joining the All Night Long Wrestling podcast today. We wish you nothing but the best of luck, and we will see you on your video blog in 2 days.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, guys. Y'all are awesome.
Take care.
Bye.
Best friends.